far as I'm concerned, using a Carolina rig to trout fish with is the most effective technique for any fish that I've ever come across. And all a Carolina rig is a sinker, swivel, and a hand-tied snell with a light wire hook. And we're using 1/4 ounce weights up here in this current. We're using a number 8 Mustad light wire hook. We're just using size 14 swivel. So don't let the term Carolina rig fool you, because all it is a sinker, a swivel, and a leader. It's no big technical presentation that you have to be a professional to use. It's very simple. The Carolina rig was really stolen from bass fishermen. You hear bass fishermen always talk about using Carolina rig to fish plastic bait. Well, we're doing the very same thing, except that we're using Berkley Magnum power eggs in fluorescent yellow to fish in this clear water. Now, the significance of a trout egg for a rainbow trout. A rainbow trout, first of all, is a born egg eater. Any bait that you use that looks anything like fish egg is going to draw a strike from a rainbow trout, especially one that's been specifically designed to float off the bottom up into the strike zone and has the right odor. Now, these Carolina rigs, you can use them in still water or current. Doesn't make any difference. The trout are in here behind these rocks. You've seen us catching them today. You can throw at an angle behind the boat, just in current. Remember to don't throw against the current. Keep in mind we're in this shallow water area. It only takes a second or two for that sinker to go down on the bottom, and the eggs will be floated up off the bottom. As soon as that sinker goes down, take the slack out of your line where you can feel your sinker on the other end, and you're ready for action. Now keep in mind, when you feel a strike, it'll be a series of light taps, just like you were brim fishing. When you feel the tap, you want to set the hook, bring the trout on in. Keep your rod tip up, keep him up out of the rocks. Just bring him right on into the boat. Now again, what you want to do, the first tap that you feel, that's when you want to set the hook. Because what you feel is the fish, is the egg in his mouth, and he's moving one way or the other. That's where you feel. And if you continue to let him hit it, what will happen, he'll swallow it down in his throat and you may hurt the fish. So again, when you're landing these rainbow trout, get him up to the boat, get his head up. He'll stop flopping. When he does, reach down gently and turn him upside down and he'll completely quit struggling. That gives you the opportunity to take the hook out of the mouth of the fish and either release him or put him in your line with him. Let's go through that again. We're using 2 eggs instead of 1 because the fish can see 2 eggs better than they can 1, and you have more floating because these eggs do float up. It floats up off the bottom a little bit better because you don't want these eggs to lay down on the bottom. A lot of people make a mistake when they use fish eggs. They put these eggs on the hook and they throw it out there thinking those eggs float up. All power eggs do not float. When you look on the bottle, make sure that you get the floating egg. Take the cast. When you see that your line has stopped going down, take the slack up. Point your rod directly at where you are in the water. When you feel the strike, set the hook. Now what'll happen, just like right there, I missed that fish when he hit it. All you need to do is let the sinker reseat itself. Go right back on point. Keep your rod tip about 10 o'clock. As that sinker sets on the bottom, the current just moves the eggs back and forth. It looks very natural. That's another strike on this. Doesn't cost you anything to set the hook. Let it go right back down. There's so much competition for food in this area, what will happen, when you miss the strike and you set the hook, the bait only goes a few feet. The sinker will go right back down and they very seldom get the eggs off of it. So it doesn't cost you anything to set the hook and miss the fish, just let it go right back like you didn't get a strike at all, and you'll be right back in the game. If you miss a few strikes and you get out of the strike zone, you may have to reel back in and throw back out to where they're biting. That's happened several times today. If you get off of where the main body of fish are, you don't get near as many strikes. So we've got a current patch running directly in behind these rocks. We're throwing into it, letting it go down on the bottom. And just as soon as it gets down there, you're usually drawing strikes. So again, keep the slack out of your line where you can feel your sinker on the bottom. Keep the rod tip pointed directly at where your presentation is in the water and wait for a strike. If there are trout in the area, you will draw strikes with this presentation. Here's a unique thing that just happened. I'm hung on a rock out there. One of the major mistakes people make is they want to pull and pull and pull with a rod tip to try to get unhung. All that does is very hard on your rod. There are so many fish in this area. If you'll lay your rod down and throw some slack in it, there'll be a fish come and pick this bait up and unhang me on the other side. See, he did it just then. Fish grabbed it and pulled it directly off. So keep that in mind. If you get hung in an area where you're fishing for trout, and you're going to, especially around a hydroelectric dam, allow a fish to come through and pull your presentation off to the backside. You'll save a lot of wear and tear on your rod, and you'll save a whole lot of money on sinkers and hooks. See if we can draw a strike behind where I got hung. There we go. Don't try to horse the fish in. These are just 6-pound line we're using light action rods, mid-range spinning reel. Fight the fish up here by the boat. A lot of people make too many mistakes fighting fish. They want to overpower the fish and try to bring him in too quick. More fish get off by people not knowing how to fight them than they do on their own accord. When you get the trout up close enough to the boat where he'll stop struggling, then you have an opportunity to land him without getting the hook in your hand or hurt the fish. This fish has got it down in his throat. So again, we're going to pull our fish eggs up like this. This particular hook is not that deep. It's not around his vital organ. I'm going to just grab it and just pop it off. No harm to the fish. I saved my hook. Always keep an eye on your hooks and make sure they're sharp. Especially these light wire hooks are really easy to dull. You'll dull them by catching fish, and you'll dull them by dragging these rigs all around these rocks out here. So just keep in mind, Carolina rigs, there's always, sinker's always on the bottom, and if you work your way in, you're dragging these hooks all around on these sharp rocks. So again, we're throwing in our little current brace there, allowing it to go down, keeping the slack out of the line, keeping the rod at about a 10 o'clock position, pointed directly at where we are in the water, and we're waiting for a strike. This will always be tapped, followed closely by several other taps. When you feel the tap, set the hook. I'm right back on that rock, and that fish grabbed it on the other side of the rock. We try to ride in behind these rocks, trying to stay out of this current. Again, we're early in the stocking season. We have a lot of small fish in this area, and we've got some really quality fish also. That fish had it just long enough behind that rock to get it down in its throat. So what we'll do is cut that, turn him loose, and that hook will rust out in just a couple of days.